Let's make sure that we are recording. Everything is working. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Type in the chat. It's going to be a much smaller group today because it is the replay. So if you have questions, this is really your time to get them answered. Everyone is saying yes, yes, yes. Yay. I love it. Okay. So you can hear me. You can see me. You're putting questions in the Q&A. Thank you, Adrienne. I love it. If you do have questions, that's the best place to put them because sometimes the chat can go a little bit fast and I don't really monitor it all the time unless there's something kind of crazy happening. So welcome. Welcome to the webinar. This webinar is first in our series of 3 webinars, and hopefully you got emails about the other 2. If not, you'll get emails about those 2, but this one is specifically how to get more people to sign up for your nonprofit event. And if you've never met me before, if you don't know who I am pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Campbell. I am an author, a consultant, and a speaker. Right now, I am mostly focused on delivering online courses and webinars and trainings to nonprofits of all sizes, small, mid-size. I come from the development and marketing world. I've been a development and marketing director. I am a board member currently. I've pretty much done everything. I've been a program director. I've been a volunteer coordinator. I've done everything except probably be an executive director. So maybe that's my next step. I don't know, but welcome. So I'm going to stop the video because I do find it kind of a little bit distracting. And I'm also in my very hot office. We are getting central air, which is very exciting, but it's not in yet. So let's just get started. Our agenda for today, I'm going to do a really quick 2-second intro on what is crowdfunding, why is it important, who's doing it, and then we're going to dive right into how to set up your registration and ticketing functionality. What are some of the benefits? What kind of events can you use with this functionality? And how to optimize your campaign to drive more people to it, to entice more people to sign up, and then how to fully enhance your campaign and reach your goals using GoFundMe's donation and sharing tools, and then of course help and resources at the end. So a question that I get all the time, I just wanted to quickly clarify the difference between GoFundMe and GoFundMe Charity. Now, you might know that CrowdRise, which is was a very popular crowdfunding platform, was acquired by GoFundMe, and then they turned it into GoFundMe Charity. It's specifically designed to raise money for charities. So GoFundMe, the traditional one, is designed to raise funds for individuals. It has fewer features. The emphasis is on ease of use and sharing, and it's optimized for individuals. So what GoFundMe found was that charities had very different expectations and different needs, and they needed control over the branding. They didn't want it all to be branded for GoFundMe. They needed more robust features. They wanted access to the donor data, tax receipts, all of that kind of great stuff. So that's what the difference is between GoFundMe Charity and the traditional original GoFundMe. So the definition of crowdfunding is it's a way to raise funds for a very specific cause or a project by asking a large number of people to donate money, usually in small amounts and usually during a relatively short period of time. It's predominantly done online, often within social networks, and that makes it easy for supporters to share a cause or project with their networks. And that's how these things spread. And that's really the power of these tools. And we will talk about them, specifically how you can get people that are attending your event or interested to share your event with more people and therefore get more interest, more awareness, more visibility. So 95% of NPOs, that's nonprofit organizations, agree that social media shares are effective for brand awareness. And the real key to all of this is that since 2012, GoFundMe has seen over an 80% increase in donation dollars that come directly from social sharing links. But the problem is that almost 50% of nonprofits cite insufficient knowledge as their reason for not prioritizing social fundraising. And honestly, that's really why we're doing these free webinars, because we want to show you a little bit about the tools and the features, but we also want to equip you with the skill set a little bit in an introductory fashion so that you can go off and do this yourself. So sharing is the key to a successful campaign, and GoFundMe Charity has made it easy to do just that. It's designed to make sharing with your networks as easy as possible. And just by following the call to action prompts, your donors and supporters are going to find it so easy with just a touch of a tap of a button to donate to your campaign, to create a team, to purchase a ticket, and to share your campaign. So we're going to talk about ways that you can post relevant updates, you can build momentum, you can do a lot of different communication with your network, with your supporters. So the first piece, the first real pillar of all of this is how to set up the registration and ticketing functionality. And we want to make this as easy as possible. We want to make sure that you're doing it, without millions of steps and without much headache. For me, what we don't want to do, especially during times of uncertainty, times of crisis, we don't want to simply cut and paste the old ways of doing things onto the new ways. So the way I feel about professional events, Nikki Garvey really put it best. They're shared experiences. And until we can reinstate them, I'm excited to see how we rethink them for our current times. This means if you have a $500 a plate chicken dinner gala, it's going to be incredibly difficult to turn that into a Zoom event. So we have to really think strategically about the types of events that we're having. People are staying inside, people are working remotely. We have to rethink and change the events, the in-person events that we've relied on. And, we can pine away for the times of yesterday, the before times, but all signs point to the fact that this pandemic and its far-reaching effects are not going away anytime soon. So how can we think about raising money and connecting with supporters in a different way in this new environment? So a little bit of advice when you're planning an event. I just want you to know that your donors are rooting for you. Your donors are rooting for you, and they're going to accept this shift. They're resilient. They expect and want you to be as well. If you're taking an existing event virtual, people were already planning to go to that event to support you. They're rooting for you. Hopefully, many of them will be right beside you in this journey. I also want to encourage you to start from a place of compassion. It's very easy to get bitter and angry and upset about world events, but we're shifting to virtual and away from gigantically large in-person events. Some of us are able to have smaller events based on where we live, but a lot of us are concerned about the safety and health of our donors and supporters. So don't appear angry, don't appear bitter. Talk to them, talk to your supporters as you would your friends and family. Make sure they understand that their safety and health are your very first priority when planning events. Also, use your existing script. Hopefully you have an events committee, you have a plan, you have a protocol. Bring these people in. You're still going to need to solicit auction items, to get sponsors excited. You're going to need to sell tickets and more. Many things are going to need to adapt and change, but a lot of what you've already created can still be used to plan and promote a virtual event. Create a special events steering committee, specifically to create that plan A and that plan B and that plan C. So don't try to do this entirely by yourself. Find staff, find volunteers, find board members, find clients that are willing to help you brainstorm, troubleshoot, and adapt your events to go virtual. And then really one of the last pieces of the puzzle, don't overwhelm yourself. So don't try to bite off more than you can chew. If you've never run an event on Facebook Live or Zoom, I would not recommend trying to bring in 50 people from 50 different locations to do, a live stream concert or an educational event. So I just don't want you to overwhelm yourself. I want you to use the tools that are going to be best suited to what you're trying to do. Now, some ideas for virtual events. I have many, many ideas in this Google Drive. I'll actually put it in the chat. It is bit.ly, you can see here, /NP COVID. And what's going to be in this Google Drive is completely free. You don't have to give me your email. It's just a place where I have been compiling some resources. So let's just take a little bit of a look. Nonprofit communications during coronavirus. These have been from the very, very beginning and up until now. There are text to give campaigns, stories of hope, thank you to donors, social media updates, and then I have an entire folder, virtual events, the virtual event cheat sheet. There's some examples. I really like Amira on the Go because that uses GoFundMe. So let's find Amira on the Move, and as a really great example of a way to use GoFundMe Charity for an event. And then I also have more ideas in this blog post. You're going to get the slides. You will get the slides. You will get the recording, and everything's sent to you. So make sure you're checking your spam folder. You're checking your junk folder after that. And if you don't, of course, you can just always email me and I'll give it to you. So this is Amira, Move for Amira. And they just started this campaign, and they did it with, GoFundMe Charity. And so you can join the campaign, the virtual event. We're in Massachusetts, and Massachusetts, while it is opening up and, the rules are becoming relaxed, we still have regulations and restrictions on in-person events. So they decided to do this virtual event called Amira on the Move. And it's Join the Movement. What I love about the way they structured this page is they say join the movement. So it's not just, help us reach our goal. It's not help us by attending this event. It's join the movement. This is what we're going to do. And it's so much bigger than one person. It is an entire movement. And they give some statistics. They don't talk a lot about Amira. They talk a lot about the event because they're assuming that if you're on this page, they don't really need to convince you with 20 pages of this is what Amira does. And you can always learn more about them on their website. So they give you the basics. A lot of events are like this right now. Pick your move. What do you want to do? Set your goal. Pick something you can handle. Set up your page. You can set up your own fundraising page linked to Amira's page. And then you can actually raise money to your network, your friends, your family members. Get the word out. I love that. And you can actually encourage people right from the GoFundMe Charity platform. You can send them updates, and you can talk to these people who have set up these fundraisers directly and give them encouragement, give them exciting news and updates, and shower them with praise and get them really excited to reach their goal. And then this is, how you get moving. Tag us in your photos. We're so excited to see what you do. And then you can also see how easy it is for someone to share. So if I shared this on my Facebook page, this is what it would look like. I am participating in Amira on the Move. Won't you help me reach my goal? Something like that. And then same on Twitter. And then of course you can just copy the link and share it wherever you want. And then they have about Amira. They have a really nice video that they've shared in case people want to get more information. The leaderboard of teams and fundraisers. I think it's a really great way to, and you can also just make a donation. You don't have to actually raise money and create your own campaign and create your own event. You can actually just collect donations. So Alana says, can you collect new donors' names and info? Yes. So that's one of the main benefits of using a platform like GoFundMe Charity. It's not like Facebook fundraising. I am a fan of Facebook fundraising. I think it has its place. I think it's a great tool. But the main con of Facebook, Instagram, any YouTube fundraising is that you don't get information on the donor. So it's really hard to thank them. It's really hard to build that relationship and cultivate them. But you do get that with GoFundMe Charity. All right, how do you set up your registration and ticketing? if you are, brand new, if you've never set up a campaign with GoFundMe before. So I think it's really, the benefits are that you can combine it into one process. You can collect a participation fee. You can ask custom questions. You can organize people to participate in a live event in person or on Zoom or Facebook Live or whatever you want. And then you can sell tickets and sell spots or merchandise all within the platform. How do you add registration and ticketing? You go to your campaign manager. So that means you do have to register with GoFundMe Charity and start a campaign. If you have a campaign on GoFundMe Charity, you're considering launching one, this is a really great feature that can help you reach your campaign goals. Then you locate registration in the ticketing option and click add registration. Now, this is a very important point. If a donation has been made to your campaign, you can't add registration, not at this time. So don't publish your campaign and ask for donations until you finish actually configuring things on the back end. If you want to set up tickets, if you want to enable registration, you want to get some more information from people participating, you want to set up your form carefully, you want to ensure an easy and not cumbersome experience, but a great experience. So once you do a GoFundMe charity event, it's going to look different than your traditional GoFundMe charity campaign would look. So the traditional one is on the left. That's your traditional crowdfunding campaign. An event is more like what the Amira on the Move, that's the look and feel of an event. So your page is going to have a new look and feel. You want to configure your settings so that everything is correct. You can always go back and change these, but you don't want to launch a campaign and then have to go back and change the settings. So if it's a program or an event with set dates and times for registration, that's fine. You can always select the start date, the end date, the times. And this prevents participants from creating a fundraising page without registering first. If that's something you really want people to do, you want them to register first before they participate in the campaign. Then you can also accept donations at registration like Amira does, or additional registrations. You can toggle this to on, you can toggle this to off. If you want to make it available for them to add an additional donation, you can set the preset amounts, and you can also determine whether or not donors have the option to cover the fees. Now, this could be a very controversial question for a lot of us, but I have always covered the fees. I have given to so many different GoFundMe campaigns, GoFundMe charity campaigns. I've always covered the fees. I don't think that it's a high ask. I think you definitely want to give people the option, and then if they don't take you up on it, that's fine. The main feature is this banner image, and you saw it in the Amira on the Go. So the event banner, the pixels they give you, 1440 by 330, but it's not, you can't just put your logo up there. You can't put a picture with a lot of text. Solid colors, plain pattern, so that it doesn't take away, let's look at Amira, it doesn't take away from the registration options. So you can see that it gets the point across here, but I can still see the Amira logo. I can see the name. I can see how they far to their goal to join and donate and share. So you just don't want a cover photo that has a ton of text or is very, very too busy. I would probably have selected like a little bit of a simpler banner, but I think this banner is fine. But as simple as you can get, because you just don't want it to take away from the main action that you want them to take, which is to register. Okay, on GoFundMe Charity, you can set up various ticket options. You can also invite your friends and supporters to join your campaign, help you with your fundraising journey. Setting up ticket options is very simple. There's a lot of different ways you can customize it to your own specific needs. So in terms of a how-to, you select ticket options. When you're in your campaign manager, click add ticket, and any details, I would always add a name to the ticket. So, table for 8, individual golfer, dinner/auction, adult walker, virtual walker, mover. Amira on the Go calls them movers, relay team of 4. I mean, be as descriptive and specific as possible so that you minimize the amount of questions that you get on the back end. Then you want to add the price that corresponds to each ticket option. This amount will be processed as a donation, and the registrant will receive a registration email confirmation at the end of the transaction. If it's a free event, just enter 0. Quantity refers to the total number of available slots or tickets that you have to offer. If it's a virtual event, obviously it's kind of unlimited, but if it's an in-person event where you can only have 20 people, you definitely want to adjust the quantity. Once this quantity has been reached, the option will be marked as sold out on your registration page, but people will still also have the opportunity to share or to donate. Quantity is the total amount of tickets available, not necessarily the total number of individuals per ticket. And if you use the group registration feature, that allows for more than one person to register per ticket. So take a look at all of these options at the back end. It really helps if you have a very specific game plan for your event. You know the timing, you know the amount of tickets that you need to sell, that you want to sell, and you know all of these sort of, you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed before you even get to the function to set it up. But you can always edit it at any time. Tax deductibility. This is important because if it's an in-person event, you're going to want to deduct the dollar amount of the ticket cost or percentage of the ticket cost. Not 100% is probably going to be tax deductible. If it's virtual, then it might be 100%. So look at your tax deductibility. I can't tell you, this is different for each event, different for each ticket. And all of us have done this when we used to do in-person events all the time. We have that language somewhere. Enabling buyer covers fees. That's what I was talking about before. They can choose to cover the service and credit card fees to ensure that you receive 100% of the value of the contribution. So I think enable it and then let people check it off, because a lot of people will. A lot of people will check it off. Some other settings to pay attention to: the apply participant cap. So this is getting into the weeds a little bit. These are more advanced settings, but if you can only have 100 people at an event, then you apply this cap to ensure that the sum of all the people who purchase ticket options will not go over that amount. You can also limit ticket purchase per order. If you would like if it's a free event and you are very limited, you don't want someone reserving 20 tickets. Maybe you do, but you can limit ticket purchase per order if you would like to do that. And then ticket availability is really if you have an early bird, early ticket price, and you want to set up early bird from May 1st to May 30th or whatever, May 31st, and then you want to have the second early bird from June to whatever. You get the point. So the ticket availability, you can choose the date and time when you would like various ticket options to be available. And then group registration, this option lets multiple participants register on the same ticket. So this is if you're selling like a family pass or a gala table, maybe a golf team, a relay team. This is really for people that are selling tickets and you want to all be under one ticket. The best thing is that in group registration, you can collect information from each individual participant so that you're able to follow up with them individually, cultivate them, make a relationship with them, rather than the person purchasing the tickets, the buyer. So it's another way to build your network, to expand your reach, to get more people into your orbit. Enabling fundraising, this is optional, but you can toggle fundraising to enable registrants to create a campaign page. And then you just customize the fundraising options for each ticket type under ticket option. If you do want a participant to create a fundraising pages like Amira on the Move, in order to participate, they have to fundraise because it is a virtual peer-to-peer fundraiser. So they're a great example. You must require fundraising on ticket options when you want all participants to create fundraising pages. And GoFundMe Charity does recommend requiring fundraising to ensure that the maximum number of people possible launch campaigns. All right, adding questions to your form. This is a great way to get intel from the people registering for your event. How did you hear about this event? What led you to us? What compels you to come? Would you like to subscribe to our mailing list? Would you like to get more information? Also, if it's an in-person event like a race, please list your emergency contact name, whatever it is that you need to collect from these people. I would not have multiple questions. I'd probably have one or two because people are not going to want to fill out a cumbersome long form, especially if they're on a mobile device. But this is a great way to collect some intel and do some research around the people that are attending your events and registering for your events. Okay, like I said before, another great feature on GoFundMe Charity, you can invite your friends and supporters to join your campaign and help you reach your goal. So this part of the presentation is how to take advantage of GoFundMe's donation and sharing tools. And there are 5 supporter actions that drive donations. So these people, they don't have to make a donation themselves. They don't have to attend your event themselves. Say they call you up, they email you, they message you, and they say, hey, I'm so sorry, I can't make your event, or I'm so sorry, I don't have the funds right now. I'm really financially strapped right now. I can't make a donation, or I can't attend your event. There are 5 actions that they can take that are going to drive even more donations. So when most people think of fundraising, they think of the end result being this grand big donation, a monetary contribution to the nonprofit. But what if the end result of successful fundraising was a more holistic approach and had much more impact on the multiple goals you're trying to tackle every day? So when you incorporate the principles of social fundraising into this mix, you can go beyond just the donation and crush all of your goals, from monetary to awareness to visibility and beyond. So we're going to go over these 5 supporter actions that are going to help you drive even more donations to your campaign, to your event. So number 1, visiting a fundraising campaign page. So although not everyone who lands on your campaign page is going to make a donation, they all should have the opportunity to share what they learned, what they did, or how they connected to your cause. So you put forth a lot of effort to get people to visit your campaign page. So if for whatever reason they can't give at the moment, they could still be providing value to your organization by sharing that campaign out via social media. So just because someone isn't able to donate at this particular moment, it doesn't mean there isn't value in sharing what about your cause resonates with them with their own network. And GoFundMe Charity found that the average amount of donations generated by a visitor's share on social media is $13. Nothing to sneeze at. So when people make a donation, their endorphins are high, they're feeling really good about themselves. They love to spread the word. I don't care if they give $5, they give $100. They want to spread the word about a donation that they just made. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Because not only does it show their personal networks that they're altruistic, it also shows the world what they believe in, their worldview, their value, their ethics, what they stand for, what they think is important. And often them taking a stand like this, putting their money where their mouth is, often the sharing of a donation results in new donations. So GoFundMe Charity has found that the average amount of donations generated by a donor's share is $15. Very interesting. Okay, so if you're on this webinar, I'm willing to believe and bet you've got an event coming up, maybe an event in your mind. Maybe people are buying tickets and they're registering. There's no reason why these event attendees should not have the opportunity to share with their networks about the awesome event they're gearing up to attend, to participate in, to watch virtually. So people like to do things with other people. Attendees inherently like to go to these things with family and friends. So this gives them an opportunity to not only recruit additional people to attend, but it gives them a reason to share with the world what they care about and what they stand for. That's what it's all about. People ask me all the time, Julia, how can I get more people to share information about our fundraising event? You have to get the people where they feel like your fundraising event, your message, your campaign is so integral to their identity and who they are that they can't not share it because they want everyone around them to know what they stand for and what they believe in. So let's see some examples. A patient saved by the research of a nonprofit, and an animal that received a forever home, a granddaughter of someone affected by a disease, a volunteer trying to make the streets safer. Maybe it's a parent fighting on behalf of their child. Whatever the reason, you have amazing stories that need to be told. And even though they have a common thread, they're unique. So you can empower your supporters to be brand ambassadors and share their personal connection with your cause. If they have a memorable experience with your nonprofit and they want to share it out, this is the most powerful form of advertising. People don't trust institutions. People don't trust organizations. They don't trust government. They don't trust big brands. People trust their peer networks. So try to get people to talk about the memorable experience they had with your nonprofit and share it out to their networks. And the most valuable way that you can cultivate these donors and supporters is to try to entice them to start their own peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. That's what Amira did with the Amira on the Moves campaign, because people start a fundraising campaign and they ask their networks, they create a campaign on their behalf. When a passionate supporter creates their own campaign and participates in your event, they're saying louder than ever what they care about. And by taking the time to create a campaign on your behalf and then taking the time to promote it and share it with their networks in order to get donations and raise awareness, that's a really profound action. And then following up and saying thank you. So on the right-hand side, this is my friend Josh. He did a fundraising campaign for Susan G. Komen, Florida for his birthday, and he sent individualized, personalized thank you videos to everyone that participated and donated to his particular birthday campaign, and it was really powerful. So that's the most powerful piece of fundraising, and definitely the most powerful feature of GoFundMe Charity's platform. So what are some ways you can use social media to mobilize your supporters? Always include your URL directly to your campaign with a clear and concise call to either donate or start a fundraiser. You don't want to give people too many calls to action because that's going to be confusing. And I wouldn't recommend that every time you post on social media, you shouldn't just ask for money. You should be giving a campaign update, sharing stories, providing data on the problem, making me care, getting me invested, telling me exactly why and what, and joining a movement. What am I doing? What's bigger than myself? You can share, and I demonstrated it to you before, you can actually encourage people to go right to your campaign page or your event page and share it out. It's usually more compelling when you customize your caption. So make sure that people aren't just sort of sharing out the page. They're telling their story, and they're telling the story of why they support you and what this means to them and why people should pay attention and why they should be actually participating in this campaign. So if I simply said, hey everyone, like the typical Facebook fundraiser language that they give you. It's very boring and not compelling. I'm starting a Facebook fundraiser for my birthday. Okay, well, great. No one probably cares. How can you customize that message? And with GoFundMe's tools, what you can do is you can actually talk to the people in campaign update, because you get the donor data, you get these emails, you get this information on the people that are starting fundraisers for you or that have started a campaign, a peer-to-peer campaign, that are participating in your event. You can communicate with them via campaign update and talk to them and encourage them and give them best practices and say, I'm so excited you started a campaign for us. It's always best to share your personal story, share your personal experience, share your personal connection to the cause, share your personal connection to the problem that we're solving, to this issue, when you're asking your friends and family to donate. You can also use it at strategic times during the campaign. Tell people, hey, we're halfway to our goal. We are so excited. We wanted 100 people to participate in this event, and we have 50. Would you share this out with 5 more people in your network so that we can reach our goal of 100 participants in this event? You know, we're close to our goal. We only need this to kind of push us over the edge. That is going to help you really generate excitement. And also, what's so important for fundraising that we forget is a sense of urgency. All of these campaigns should have a sense of timeliness, of relevance, of urgency. Why now? Why this? Why am I paying attention? And what do you want me to do? Using photos to convey impact, using videos, maybe take a live video. Now, I know that sharing live video right now from the field might seem next to impossible, but even if it's just a live video of you at your desk saying, hi, everyone, thank you so much for your participation in our campaign, the Amira Movers campaign. We would love to see a few more people participate. Here are some examples of what people are doing to kind of give you some ideas for your own campaign. That always works really well, because a lot of times people think, oh, I can't do this. I can't participate. I can't sign up because I don't have any ideas. I'm not creative. I don't even know where to start. If you give them some ideas through video, through photos, through the stories that you're telling, they're not starting from a blank page, and they're much more likely to participate. Send it out to everyone that made a donation and say, this is exactly what your money is going to fund. This is why it's important. This is what you helped accomplish. That's hugely impactful. And announcing a stretch goal. A lot of times, if you're doing a campaign like this, maybe it'll take off and it will do much better than you could have ever dreamed. And you can announce a stretch goal. Say, hey, we raised the first 1,000. Why don't we have a stretch goal of 4,000? Let's see if we can do it. And then get everyone on board rallying around the stretch goal. And then, of course, thanking people, acknowledging them. And for your donors, asking them to consider starting their own fundraiser. That is a completely acceptable ask. I've seen it done quite a few times to much success. Like, thank you so much for your donation. Would you consider either sharing this event with other people, or you consider starting your own fundraiser on our behalf? Because clearly you care, you're invested, you want to be a partner in stopping the problem, and you want to be participating in the solution that we care so deeply about. So these are some links of how you can use the campaign update tool throughout your campaign and also at the end of the campaign. So this is, be a masked hero. So the story is the main ask. It's almost like the sales page, the Q&A, this is exactly what we're doing. But then the updates, you post these on the page, and then you can actually elect to send them to the donors and to the fundraisers. Of course, if they're anonymous, I'm not sure that you can send them every single campaign update, but you do get information on every single donor. So a thank you. This is what we've done. We reached our campaign goal. Here is a photo. You don't have to be a videographer. You don't have to be a photographer. You don't have to even be a great copywriter, just say, thank you. Tell me what was achieved. Tell me what happened. And they use campaign updates all throughout the campaign. $5,000 left, because we can't think of donors as ATM machines. Donors are partners in our mission. They've invested in our mission. And too often what happens is that they make a donation and they never hear from the charity again. And to me, that's disgraceful. We need to be talking to these people. Like, if your best friend, if you asked her for money and you said, I'm going to do XYZ, you'd probably give her an update on what you did with that money, even if there's no expectation of a return on her part. So we have to think about donors as friends. We have to think about donors as partners, as investors, and really cultivate them and talk to them and not treat them like ATM machines. That's what I want to definitely impart to you today. So I have a quick start checklist for you. If you have registered because you're on the Zoom call, you're going to get this in a PDF, a very easy checklist that you can print out, that you can share with your team. This is your quick start checklist for creating your free GoFundMe Charity account and campaign. You can start raising money immediately. Make sure, so you're going to claim your nonprofit. If it's not there, you're going to get it added. That's maybe an extra step for most of you. You can just start claiming it. Your payment processor, your campaign page, that's where you're going to elect to have the registration and ticket function. Because remember, you can set it all up, but if you promote it and you get a donation, then you can't go back and change it to an event. So make sure that you set it up before you start telling everybody about it, before you start promoting it. The other thing I wanted to call your attention to is the report center. This is where you're going to get data on your donors, on your fundraisers, on your teams. If you're selling tickets, on the tickets sold, that's going to be your sort of hub of information where you can look at it every day, your dashboard, and see your progress towards your goals. You can see which teams are raising the most money, so maybe you can reach out to them. You can see which teams might be struggling, so maybe you can reach out to them with a helpful word of encouragement or some more resources, some more information that they can use to fundraise. So the report center is hugely important. So if you want to get started for free, this is what it looks like. For those new to the platform, click the Start for Free button on the homepage. It's charity.gofundme.com. Make sure to use your .org email address if possible to help us verify the connection to the charity. It's okay if you use a personal email address, but additional documents and verification might be required. Then you search for your nonprofit by name or tax ID number. The support team will verify your connection to the organization and then install you as the account administrator. And then once you're verified as an account administrator, you will be able to update banking information and select the payment processor. Just a couple of steps, and then you can start fundraising immediately. Key takeaways for successful crowdfunding. Create your campaign with your call to action in mind. What do you want people to do? And what does success look like? What's your goal? Share the link with everyone, but don't just share the link. Share the story of the link with a compelling ask that's going to convince me why now, why this. Post updates about the campaign to build momentum and use your results to improve what you're doing and to tweak your campaign and to glean actionable insights that you can then use to improve your campaign. Okay, we covered lots of information and I'm going to get to your questions. I did want to let you know about GoFundMe Charity's Powerful Help Center, full of useful tutorials and articles. It includes step-by-step instructions for some of the more robust features that we touched on, like registration, campaign customization, fundraising minimums, the donate button. And just so you know, we will be sending slides for the presentation in a follow-up email. We'll be sending the recording and let's just, in the last few minutes, let's jump into some questions. Okay, let's see. I see some in the Q&A. If they're in the chat, I'm not going to see them necessarily. Okay, let's see. Is there a social media platform that works best? Well, that depends what you're trying to achieve, and that depends where your donors are. So if your donors are maybe skewing a little bit older, I'm assuming fundraising is probably your goal, then you may want to explore fundraising on Facebook and Instagram, or at least publicizing your URL to your networks on that platform. To me, I think across all generations, I think that sending out an email with your GoFundMe charity URL tends to work best, actually across all generations, but you want to put it everywhere that you have a presence. So what you don't want to do, Heather, is you don't want to just sign up for a social media platform and then start posting your link. You want to make sure you have a little bit of an audience built up so that you can ask for their attention. And you can say, hey, you've been invested with us, you've followed us, you've liked us, maybe you followed us on Instagram, you followed us on Twitter, we're connected on LinkedIn, whatever it is, I would love to share this campaign with you. What I see too many nonprofits doing is they simply use social media platforms as a billboard and a way to promote their agenda. And they think, okay, we're just going to post a bunch of links and no value, and it's not going to be interesting to anybody, and we're just going to use it like an advertising platform. And that really doesn't work, because people want to feel a connection to a charity before they donate, before they invest, before they become a partner. So I think that taking some time to truly share your stories and share what you're about, and share some videos and share photos and build up an audience who cares about you and who wants you to succeed. And then you can go to them and ask them, will you invest in this? Will you join with us? This is what's possible if we join together. This is what's possible. So we have to think about social media as a value exchange. If I give you my time and attention on social media, then you have to give me something of value in exchange. And that doesn't mean, a t-shirt or a tote bag necessarily. It just means something that's going to make me feel good, something I can share with my networks and go back to them, my friends, my family, and say, this is an organization that I care about, that I'm very passionate about, and I want to help them succeed. Okay. This is another one from Heather. We're raising money for multiple causes, college scholarships, and money for several charities. Would you run a campaign for each charity or cause? Well, it depends. Is it a project? So I feel like a college scholarship is a very specific project. So yes, I think I would raise money for that specific college scholarship. But once again, it goes back to the donor. Running multiple campaigns, is that going to be confusing to the donor? Are you pulling from all the same donors? Like, is it the same donor list? Then I really wouldn't run multiple campaigns, because then you're confusing your donor and you're probably fatiguing them with multiple asks. So we can't think about what we want. We can't think about our agenda. We have to think about what is the donor going to respond to? What's our priority? Like, what's our organizational priority? Of course, what do we need money for? But then how can we frame it in a way that's going to be like a donor is going to be responsive to it? So I actually get this question a lot. Should I have multiple Facebook pages? Should I have multiple Instagram accounts? If you have a completely different audience for each of those pages, like a completely different audience, then yes. If there's any overlap, then probably not, because you don't want to confuse your audience. You don't want to confuse your donors and your supporters, and you don't want to make them like multiple pages, because they definitely won't. Okay, let's see. A lot of these are technical questions. Let's, in terms of the GoFundMe charity percentage? I'm going to Google it because I believe it is, there's no subscription rate. I'm just going to go to their site. So the solutions, oh, this is Charity GoFundMe. It's definitely not 4%. It's like 1% plus 30 cents per donation. So the key is, let's see, subscription options. Start for free pricing. There we go. No subscription fees, no paywalls, no catches. So the free is 0% platform fee, 1.9% processing fees. Donor tipping, that just means like they'll give more money. They're given the option, you know, to tip GoFundMe Charity, which I feel like is the same kind of as covered fees, but it's just two different options. The net amount, the charity platform, price per user, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like what you need to do is start out with the free. And if you find that you don't have enough features and it's not robust enough, then you can change to the flex. But for almost every single one of my clients, the GoFundMe free option, which you're not going to find a single platform other than Facebook that doesn't cover processing fees, but Facebook doesn't give you the donor information. So you have to weigh, you've got to kind of weigh all the pros and the cons with each of these campaigns. Let me see. Oh, can you add offline donations to offset the goal? Yes. So there is a way on the back end, and I should have talked about this actually. You can add it. I'm just going to look in the help section about specifically. So what I would recommend, turn this off for your donors, because what you don't want is some random person to go to your campaign page and pledge $100 in an offline donation and then not make it. But you, as the administrator of the campaign, you go to your campaign manager, you select manage, you add offline donation button. So that is something you absolutely can do, but I just wouldn't recommend letting anybody do that, because people might have very good intentions and then they might not actually make the donation, and then then it will offset your goal. Okay, so I answered the percentage. Can you collect new donor names and contact information? Yes, absolutely. Thania says, are you doing another date? I have 2 other webinars that are coming up. One is on July 9. You'll be getting all of this information, but I want to share it with you now. So the next webinar is July 9, and it's how to set up the donate button. I'll put this link in the chat. You'll get all of this in your email. So just make sure you're looking in your spam folders. And then the other one is July 22nd. And that is how to mobilize supporters to fundraise for you. So take a look at those 2 links in the chat. You will get an email about them. I'm not sure if I'll be doing another event date, but if I did, it would probably be later in the summer or towards the fall kind of timeline. So make sure you are checking your email, checking your spam, checking your junk folder, because I'm going to send you the recording, the slides, all the other information. If you're having a technical problem, look at the bottom of this slide. I encourage you to email NPO support at GoFundMe.com. So some of you have questions around, where do I get my payments and why haven't I received my payments? And unfortunately, I can't look that up on the back end. Okay. Oh, Charity, I think it does integrate with, let me see, with MailChimp, Charity integrations. I believe it does integrate with MailChimp, but let me look that up. I just don't want to say anything that I don't know. So let's look up integrations. MailChimp. Like I said, I would really just go to the help section. If you have a specific software that you wanted to integrate with. But yes, it integrates with MailChimp. I believe it integrates with Salesforce. Also, they're constantly updating their integrations and adding new ones. And so what I would do is go to charity support at GoFundMe.com and look up your specific email client if you do want it to integrate. And of course, you can always export your donor list and then import it into MailChimp or Constant Contact or MailChimp, Constant Contact. I have ConvertKit, and you can integrate it into whatever you want. Okay, so let's see. Ludwig says, can you GoFundMe cyclically, a fall semester, then in 4 months a spring semester? Yes, you can set up as many campaigns as you want, as many events as you want, as long as you've registered your campaign. So you can set the timing. You can set a campaign to start in, August 1st and then conclude on September 30th. I mean, you have complete control over when your campaigns run and the timing of your campaigns. So you can run a campaign and it can conclude, and then you can run a second campaign with specific dates, and then you can run a third campaign with a different goal, with a different story, with different branding, with all of that. So I think that's really an important point, is that you can run as many different campaigns as you want for different time frames, and encourage those teams and those ambassadors that I talked about to raise money for you, to get their networks on board to help you promote it, because that's what's really going to be the key to all of this. So look at the Help Center, look at the how-to videos on YouTube, go to the blog, you can go to my website. If you have a tech support question, you are welcome to email me, but you can also email NPO support at GoFundMe.com, and they will get all of your tech questions answered. So I loved spending time with you today. I really hope that you join me for another webinar. I'm gonna start the video, stop the share. I really hope you join me either on July 9th, July 22nd, but definitely join me for another webinar. I'd love to see you. Thank you so much for your attention today, and make sure, check your spam, check your junk folder if in 24 hours you have not received the recording or the slides, because we will be sending those out directly to the email that you use to register for this Zoom webinar. That's where I'm going to be sending all that great stuff to you. Okay, have a wonderful day, and let us know if you need anything. All right, talk to you soon.